What's going on, everyone? We'll wait for a few more people to join this live stream before we get started. We'll wait for everyone to get here. Hey, what's going on? How are you doing? I miss you guys too. I'm doing good. I just got back into town today, so I'm a little tired, but we had some really good price action today with UXIN. So I figure we talk about it ahead of earnings and talk about what I think that means for the stock. Um, just give me a few minutes. UXIN is exploding. Yes, it is. This is great for all shareholders. This is great for all of us that have been long on the stock and ignored the naysayers, but we're not out of the we're not in the clear yet. You know, we still need a solid earnings for that to actually for the share price to be sustainable. Your prediction is $10 on this end of year. That is a huge prediction. Hopefully we can get there. But I will say it's a great thing that in a market where a lot of stocks aren't seeing a lot of movement, we have 58% in one day on this stock. Where a lot of stocks, growth and tech stocks, are not seeing that type of movement, and I don't expect them to anytime soon. So for me, for anyone who was in it, I'm sure that this stock was a great place to be. How are you doing, Nature? Neo to $80 by November. That's your prediction. I wouldn't be surprised if it did get there, and I also wouldn't be surprised if it didn't. It's a hidden iceberg. When this stock will become visible to the masses, that's when it will move. I agree. We're waiting for like the market to really accept what they're doing, and I think that they're doing really good things. So I really feel like it's just a matter of time. So I'm not going to keep this live stream too long, but I just wanted to talk about this because I feel like on some of the UXIN videos that I've posted, there's been two groups of people, right? There's been the people who understand that it's a good company in a growing market and there's the potential is there. And then there's also the other group of people who may have been in the stock for a long time, haven't experienced, good gains on the stock, and view the company as a pump and dump or a scam or whatever the case may be. And of course, you guys know which camp I fall into. I fall into that camp of people who thinks that it's a great company. There's a lot of growth potential up ahead. I feel like they are the best in the space that they're in right now. And I just feel like this story could play out very well, but everything depends on execution. It's not a safe company by any means, but I do feel like there's been a lot of updates over the past few weeks that show improvements in the fundamentals. Someone said, "What do you like about the fundamentals?" There's nothing there. That's just not true. For example, JD, China's biggest internet company by revenue, would not, I feel like personally, in my opinion, not financial advice, of course, would not invest in a company that's a pump and dump. There's so many other secondhand car companies in China. Out of all the names, they chose UXIN. And another thing that validated my conviction for me is that when there was that investigation by a local Chinese government of all the different used car companies, UXIN came out on top. From the way I read the article, it's on the channel. It's still there. I didn't delete it. So basically, they came out on top in terms of quality. Last earnings, their net promoter score had improved. The net promoter score is at a 30. We expect the net promoter score to keep on improving. That's also the guidance that they gave us. They also said that they expect gross margin to go from where it was. It's high in the negatives. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's somewhere in my notebook over here, to positive. That's going to be a huge improvement. They're expecting 12 to 13% growth quarter over quarter. That would be a huge improvement. The thing I've said about this company, and I kind of echo this sentiment in most of the videos where I speak on it, is that if you're buying into a company where they're changing a lot of things around in the short term, there's going to be a lot of pain. You can't expect a company to have online and offline distribution channels. You can't expect them to have a finance unit that's also driving revenue and then just cut those things off. We're only online now. We no longer have that financing unit, and expect that to have a positive impact on the share price in the short term. Like management has told us, they expect these changes that they've made, even, they have a new CFO, expect these changes that they made to make the company more profitable over the long term. So it's a long game here. So when people get mad about that happening and the numbers looking pretty bad in the short term, they're only thinking short term, in my opinion. Now, like I said, I feel like the fundamentals have been dramatically improving over the last 3 weeks or so, right? They were negotiating around $300 million on the high end with those two investors. Those two investors, I don't feel like no one's just throwing away $300 million. It takes a lot to put up that type of money. And if you're putting up that type of money, you obviously have spoken to the people in the business and you have more conviction than the average Joe, me, a retail investor, has. That's a really good sign, right? The Chinese investigation, they came out on top. That's a really good sign. JD, China's biggest internet retailer by revenue, is entering into a strategic partnership with them. They're not just entering into a partnership with anybody. That's a really good sign. On top of that, we already know the longer term fundamentals, why we took interest in this company in the first place. China wants to build a $306 billion used car market from scratch by 2025, which would be a 2x of what it is today. Growing market, best company, and that's obviously up to the investor to decide to differentiate between the other companies in the market and figure out which one is the best one for them. But in my opinion, it's the best one. So the fundamentals are improving. All these things just happened over the last 3 weeks. The share price didn't really move much. Today, it shot up 58% in a single day. Now, if you're just getting into the market in 2020, you might think companies fly like that all the time. No, they don't. That's a huge move. 58% in a single day. That's crazy. The company is also backed by Baidu, another leading internet company in China. The company, and then aside from that, who else believes in the market? Someone who's had success in transportation for a long time in China. A lot of people know him as the godfather of travel in China, William Li, Ben Li, NIO CEO. He believes in the used car market. He has a relationship with Dai Kun at UXIN. Not to say that he's invested, but at a certain point, he was invested in the company. And NIO wouldn't have started up their used car program if he didn't believe in the used car market in China. So there's a lot going for this company. Now let's talk about the share price shooting up 58% in a single day, just 2 days ahead of earnings. What does that mean? That means investors have priced in a really good earnings. Now, for the stock to remain at $2.16, what has to happen? We have to have a really good earnings. That's what's priced in. Otherwise, the stock will tumble if there's a bad earnings. But everything leading up to this earnings has given me confidence, has given me reason to believe that this earnings is going to be significantly better than their last earnings. And guess what? Their last earnings was in Q4. This was not Q4. Their last earnings, because their calendar is a little weird, but this one should be their last quarter of the year. They don't go by like Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 on the traditional earnings calendar. So it'll probably be like, I forget what it is. It might be like the 2021 earnings or something like that, but that's regardless of the point. I say all this to say that this turnaround story is gearing up the stock for a really good year, and it's all contingent upon the earnings. So it's going to be really important. It's going to be in 2 days, the 28th. It's the 26th right now, right? It is the 26th right now. So, we've got NEO earnings as well. I'm going to be live streaming both of those. And this is just going to be them saying that it's time to take notice. We've done the work. We're building the company back, and we're building it back better than it ever was. And timing is everything. You might have the right product or service, but if the market isn't looking for that, then that means everything. And right now, China's used car market, the market is looking for companies to provide those used cars, to repurpose everything. Because China wants to be all electric eventually, right? But they don't want to waste what they have already. They want to make sure that those used cars can enter and exit the ecosystem in a way that's meaningful. And that's where the used car market comes in. And the electric car market, it's not going to take away from that. And I do believe that eventually UXIN will be selling used electric cars as well. And now, like a lot of people say, even though NEO has their own used car program, right? That doesn't mean that NEO cars are solely going to be sold through NEO's used car program, right? You can go buy a Tesla on Vroom, can't you? But Tesla also sells used cars directly through themselves. So a company like UXIN will be selling used cars as well. There will be some used NEO vehicles there as well. I don't doubt it one bit. They have an inventory owning model. That's another thing that they switched to. Other than sourcing, before they were sourcing their vehicles from other places, and that's what really helped drive up the net promoter score, in my opinion, because when you have those vehicles in your inventory in hand, it's better for quality. It's better for their supply chain. Let me read some of these comments. Picked up 2,000 shares around $1.41. Hopefully another NEO. I bought NEO under $4 with 5K shares back in the beginning of 2020. Nice. Congrats on the gains. The secondhand market is huge, especially the China one. If you have 1K to invest, where would you put that money to work right now? If I had 1K to invest right now, I would honestly put that money, I could put that money in NEO right now. I don't think the share price is ridiculous. I could put that money in Clover Health. I would most likely probably put it there. I could put that money in UXIN, but I would absolutely wait until earnings is over. And by the way, again, this is not financial advice. That's what I would do in my specific situation. I'm going to have a lot of, I'm going to be doing a lot of live streams this week. So stay tuned. Bringing some people have been reaching out to me. I'm just now getting the chance to go through all my DMs. So a lot of the videos this week will be very conversational, and it won't just be me probably, but we'll see what happens because I have a few things that I need to do. I need to stream the earnings for UXIN. I need to stream the earnings for NEO. We need to see what's going on with our companies, right? The factors that will help UXIN explode is the market conditions because all indexes are at all-time high, and that makes investors fear uncertainty and doubt. I agree. I agree. There's a lot of fear in the market right now. People are worried about a negative return, things of that such. I was on to JD when it was $30. Nice. Are you still in JD? I know I heard about it back then, but I wasn't really. It didn't really interest me as much. It's a good company for sure. But yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about today with UXIN. This is a good moment for all longs. This is a good moment for people who've had conviction in the company. Now we wait for earnings. We see if earnings comes around and there's a good sentiment after it to close out the deal and make the share price sustainable, which I think it will be a good earnings. Um, I don't see why not. There's such a flurry of good news that's been leading up to it. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on and give my piece on what's going on with UXIN and my thoughts on it and where I think the share price could head if we don't have a good earnings and where I do think it could head if we have a good earnings. But that's going to be it for this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment down below. I'll get around to linking the free Discord in the description as soon as I end this live. But thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And, cheers to another week in the market. I appreciate it.